So tell me about the part where you're being called the courageous educator. I love that.
I think we all have a little bit of a courageous educator in ourselves, right? Whether we're educating kids, our partners, our friends. But of course, I'm so honored to have this title. It's also humbling because I have to practice what I preach, right? And there are moments where I'm like, am I really courageous? I don't know. Or are they talking about me? And part of owning who I am is owning not just the parts that I want to work on, but also the parts of my strength. And I think that is hard to do because sometimes we can, especially women, we're a little shy, like, oh, like I'm just okay at that. But it's like, no, I'm really gifted in this area, or I've worked
Hmm.
hard. I've took a lot of time to study on how to do this. And just trying to own all of that and embrace it. So that's what I just one day at a time, Carla.
Now, I love it. I love it. If you had to share some of these golden nuggets that you're sharing with me now, or insight that as you're taking this journey, right, of
Mhm.
helping others, what would you
Mhm.
tell your 18-year-old self?
The biggest thing I would say is stay true to who you are. I feel
Mm,
like throughout my life, I would always chameleon to what was the popular vote or the popular choice. And I really lost myself in those middle years because I was trying to fit in. And I wasn't really owning who I was, especially growing up in the suburbs of, especially growing up in the suburbs of St. Louis. There wasn't a lot of other people who looked like me. It was pretty diverse, but I just felt like I didn't quite belong here. And then when I was in Taiwan, I
hmm.
didn't quite belong with people who looked like me. And I just really had to come and figure out, like, who am I? What do I stand for? And show up courageously as that person.
Well, you're a beautiful person, Ming. That's all I can say. I don't know. That's all. I mean,
Thank
you
you, Carla.
are a
Thank you
shine.
so
You
much.
are a light. And I'm sure everyone who had an opportunity to meet you are like, really the day you've made their day. I know you make my day, so I'm glad
You
that I've
make my
met you
day
and
too,
and
Carla.
so so share with us a little bit about how do you work with someone. I know you help them with courage. I know you're an educator, but when you're working with someone, like how do you break it down so that the person can take along a journey of growth, a journey of accomplishment, of accomplishing their goals?
This is a delicate one, right? Because I think the first thing is that you have to establish that relationship that I'm here with
Hmm.
you and that we are in it together, that your successes are my success. And one of the first things I do is ask the people I work with to really identify what are their values. Like, what is important to you? Is it learning? Is it courage? Is it, um, family? Is it feedback? What there's so many. And then sometimes they can take a little survey to really get down to what are your values. And then from there, we know what do we want to coach for, right? Because some
Mm.
people might not value feedback. And so then how I give the feedback really is important. It matters. Most of the people I work with really value feedback, so that's a good thing, right? Because feedback helps us continue to learn and grow. So we start with the values, and then what do we want to do from there? What is something that you're working on? And a lot of times, like I mentioned earlier, there's like these big scary goals. So we just break it down. Like, what do you want to? This is your big goal for a year from now. So what does it look like 6 months from now? And we kind of do a little backwards planning, and from the backwards planning, we can say, like, all right, this is your first action step to continue to move forward. And we just go on
Love
this
it.
lovely journey together. And it's just really nice because it's a partnership, it's a moment of growth, and it's really a moment of discovering who you really are. So that's what I love
I
about it.
love it. And how inspiring that is, because to be able to have someone right alongside with you as you're really, people don't realize a lot of time, you know gaining that courage to take that first step and whatever it is, whether it's building your life, building your classroom, building an entrepreneur, a job, or a business, is having that person next to you to say you can do it, and being that cheerleader and holding them accountable for them to be able to accomplish that. And so that's so inspiring. So, who have inspired you? I mean,
Oh
you're
my
an
God.
inspiring person yourself, but what inspires you? Who inspires, Ming into doing what it is that she's doing today?
This is so cliche, and I have to say my mom, Carla, because she moved to the United States when I was 6 months old. She moved to a brand new country with nobody around, no family, with a baby. And my dad, he was in the middle of getting his MBA, or he was starting his MBA. That's why they moved to the United States. And she didn't speak the language, so she would go to night school, and she was doing odd
Wow.
jobs here and there to try to make money. And we were really, really poor for a long time because we were just trying to make ends meet. My dad was in school. I don't actually remember all of that. I do remember, I think it was like 3 or 4, and we needed to go to the grocery store. And my dad had the car because he was either on job interviews or whatever it may be, or maybe he already started working at that time. I don't quite remember. But my mom and I, we walked to the grocery store. It's 2 miles away. And like my little legs are walking there. And then
Oh
on the
my
way home, I'm
God.
like, Mom, I can't walk anymore, right? Like most toddlers
Mm,
do. And she's like, I can't carry you because I have all these groceries. And I just remember like making that trek back to our house. And I just think that
mm.
that moment of resilience really sticks out to me, that no matter how hard things get, there's always a solution. There's always a way out of it. And it just depends on if you have the mindset that's ready to say, I can do this. And that's
Oh my gosh. I mean, you bring that to the table too, Ming. Resilience. I mean, what else? That's inspiring in itself because, and how old were you again? You were like four?
I think I was like 3 or 4 because I
4 years
I
old.
vaguely
And still remember
I
that.
remember the walk being so hot and tiring.
Hmm. And it made an impact on you at that age. Isn't
Mhm.
that interesting? Because that's what you remembered. So you had to be going through that experience and for it to stick, it sticked on you. And now you still remember that, but you're taking it and making it your a best move of how you deal with life, with resiliency and dealing with others and working with others. So that is a way to take your challenge and overcome it. But not only overcome it, you triumph it for others. So that's a great way to become not only the courageous educator, but now you're the resilient courageous